Made. I'm Made. How goes it?
Good, mate. Good. Pam is messaging me, trying to get you on.
Yeah.
Let me just...
So this is the one for, this is the link for Conversion Monster for today, right?
Correct. Yeah.
I might.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if Howard's joining. I mean, I think G's...
I don't think he is.
Oh, okay.
I've been talking to G all morning about it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Yeah. So we're on the same page.
Perfect. Perfect. Because I'm...
So how are you?
Yeah, man. Good, good. Just, you know, just trying to keep up with everything.
This, that, and the other. This,
Huh?
that, and the other, mate.
Yeah.
You're doing this, that, and the other.
A lot of shit, a lot of balls in the air, you know? Just trying not to drop them.
No, you do. No, you do. You have a, you have an interesting role in the company. Like it's, I mean, it's obviously vital, but it's interesting to see it play out.
What's up, Matt? How are you, mate?
Hey.
Pretty good. How's it going, guys?
Good, good.
RZA.
Mr. Jenkins. Finally get a chance
How's it
to
going, buddy? I know.
I like
yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good. Oh, thanks. That's just to hide all the places that the weird places that I end up working.
Yeah, I should have probably thought of that one today because I'm actually working from home, my childhood house, and I guess technically my mother's basement, but yeah, it slides.
Well, you know what? It's actually way better than G's basement.
His basement was awesome.
No, seriously.
Yeah, seen it, but
That
Did
thing,
you see the?
that was legit. I
It
keep
was the
thinking
best
like
ever.
I keep thinking like Mark Zuckerberg was gonna come out from under like a freaking blanket or something.
oh yeah,
Like
I could totally see it.
and like
I
Wozniak and
honestly,
like all those guys.
I think like we should have like Laney do like a cartoon image of that mad scientist in the basement. It's gonna be awesome.
That would definitely be perfect.
I have on Ylopo.com, I have a timeline of our sort of company's growth over the last like 4 years. I should add that into the timeline.
Oh yeah,
Like,
like where we started.
yeah, when G went into the basement, then all of a sudden,
Absolutely. And G's gonna be hopping on here as well today, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, he gave me a call about an hour ago. He just asked me to send over our stats for Ylopo clients in month 1 compared to month 6, and we kind of just went over how we're gonna introduce you guys and everything like that.
Okay.
So it should be a pretty good turnout. I'm excited here, guys.
yeah. No, thanks for helping us promote it. It's,
Oh, of course. Thank you guys. I feel like this is long overdue, and I know a lot of our clients that could really use Ylopo, so I'm very, very excited.
yeah, no. Mike,
I know it's funny
Rennie,
when
awesome.
those old threads in YSC, like Matt, can you contact me? Matt, can you message me? And like
Yep.
it'll go on for like a year. It's
Oh my god!
hilarious.
And then I'll see ones from like 6 months ago that people are now engaging on again, and I'm like, oh wow, that one's popping back up. But yeah, no, it's been great.
Funny.
Oh, looks like Rose got my Zoom account there.
Might come up as Matt Rizzo.
Yeah, coming up with Matt Rizzo. That's all right.
Oh, okay. We'd
People
like to
think you're a
keep
little
them,
extra good
keep them on
looking.
their toes.
Yeah, exactly right.
Ah,
All right. And then I
Alright,
think
so here's the 29th.
so,
Yeah, so in the month of September, 262 leads processed, 139 contacts made, so almost, was that just over half, 7 live transfers, 18 appointments, and 16 nurtures.
nice.
That's incredible.
Love to see it. Absolutely. And so can you see the opportunity rate on there too, Barry?
The what?
Can you also see the opportunity rate on that report or no?
Let me look. There it is. I'll share it.
Cool.
There it is. All right, so
Nice. Year to date, 122, 47 transfers.
a lot.
Yeah, it doesn't say the
But
actual.
I don't think you guys have worked my stuff for a full year.
No, I don't think just yet. It's been a year. And
But
yeah,
yeah,
you're
this is a
right around 300 leads a month. I think you're still averaging, right?
yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on, G?
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Mr. Baldwin.
What's going on, you handsome dudes?
Your beard is as beautiful as always.
There's a lot of dudes here.
There is a lot of dude.
Dude fest.
All I see.
What's up, Barry?
What's up,
Hey,
dude?
you're gonna have to move from
Hey,
all
can you flex for me real quick? Just
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say
I want
that.
to see the biceps, please. Please.
No, I don't want to listen. This is a family
They
show.
won't fit in the screen. They won't fit in the screen. Just tell them, Nick.
You're way too big to fit in a little box. So now I know Barry's been creeping on my Facebook and sliding into my DMs.
Oh, I saw a picture of you the other day. I was like, man, he's gotten into shape. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm working out every day, man. You know, I
It's
got
wide angle lens now. Just to,
I got to prepare myself for the zombie apocalypse.
But yeah. So, G, you're not in the.
I just buy guns.
Today?
I am not in the basement. I am in our large empty office with just one coworker.
Yeah.
It's a good thing we have all that space.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm actually in the basement today, but I should have probably thought of a nice background idea like Barry over here. That would have been a good idea.
Harry's not in front of a background. That's a real. He's really there.
He's really at
Is that why
Ylopo.
Ylopo University?
I actually have a Ylopo curtain in my bedroom behind me. That's actually what that is. So I'm just kidding.
Harry, move your head out of the way for a second.
Hey, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ylopo University. Got it.
What was that?
You were supposed to send me the stats, remember?
Yeah, I did send them to you. You didn't
Oh,
see?
you did?
Yeah. Hold on, let me pull it up again.
Oh, I should open up my stats.
Yeah, 118 EST. I sent it to you, G, but I'll forward if you need it. It's just the month 1 average statistics for our Ylopo clients compared to month 6. And
Oh,
then,
I see it now. Weird. I took it off. Okay. All right. Awesome.
yeah, I hope that helps.
Yep.
All right, guys, we're at 11 a.m. Pacific. I'm going to launch you live so you can start the banter and let everyone roll in, and then I'm going to drop off.
Awesome.
Have fun, fellas.
Thank you, sir.
You're live.
All right. And we'll give, I guess, another minute here or so for everybody to hop in.
Welcome, welcome. Already see some familiar Ylopo names here.
Yep. I think the word got out to some of our Ylopo clients that just didn't want to miss out on this. So we'll probably be seeing some of that as well.
Here for
Are
more.
we going live on Facebook too, or no?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I think there's a lot of Ylopo users that are trying to figure out like a good workflow, and they see a lot of us that are crushing it using Conversion Monster, so they're probably curious how that works.
Absolutely. And I know that your best practices have been helping out with a lot of our Ylopo clients as well, Barry. And I think even if we, do a future webinar, just going over some of the best practices when Ylopo clients bring on Conversion Monster, I think that'd be very beneficial.
Yeah. I just honestly, I think we could just summarize it really well. I just do whatever Nick Baldwin would do. Like honestly, that's it.
Absolutely. That guy knows.
What would Nick Baldwin do?
He's going to take off his shirt. Everyone says my nipples are Facebook famous now.
Wow.
Oh, hey everyone! Thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone, we're live.
Very appropriate.
So I guess we could get started here, and we'll give everybody a chance to trickle in as well. But first off, I wanted to definitely thank everybody for joining us today. I'm very, very excited about this call in particular because, I would say just about every one of our clients asked me, where do you guys find the best success? Which sources do you guys recommend? And I, constantly find myself recommending people to Ylopo for so many different reasons. Not only do they provide amazing lead generation options through Facebook and Google, but they also have the technology to stay in front of every lead in your database, whether it be from 5 years ago, 2 weeks ago, it doesn't matter. Remarket these leads with targeted ads, monitor their activity, and when they get to the point of re-engagement, whether they click on a property or turn to your website, Conversion Monster is calling them immediately, and next thing you know, you're meeting with that buyer tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So that's the beauty of the system and one of the many, many things that Ylopo offers. So we're very, very excited to share with all you guys. So let me go ahead and introduce some of our guests here. I'll start with big buff man at the top here, Mr. Nick Baldwin, who is the co-founder of Lab Coat Agents. And I know Nick will be a really good person to have in this conversation because he's been using
Let's sweat respect. There it is. Let's sweat respect.
Nick, how long have you been using CM with Ylopo? About 2 years?
I've been using. Yeah, has it been a couple years?
I think so.
I don't know if it's
He's
been
an
a few
OG.
years. Yeah. Oh, actually, probably a year and a half. I don't know, Ro. I can't recall, but more than a year for sure.
Yeah, definitely over a year. And I know that you'll be able to give some good insight on, how the two work together in conjunction, obviously, but also the results that you found. So very excited to have you here, Nick. From there, we have Mr. Barry Jenkins, Professor Barry Jenkins, should I say, at Ylopo University here. And Barry is Ylopo's realtor in residence, and he also handles all of our training for the Ylopo leads in particular. So I know Barry's going to do a great job on this call as well. And then bringing it over to my good buddy G, who is the co-founder and chief marketing officer of Ylopo. So we're very, very excited to have all of you guys here. And without further ado, I guess I'll pass the floor over to Ylopo.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Matt. We are so thrilled to be talking to the community. I mean, all of our what Matt and Ro, do is very valued by us, and our relationship with them is the same relationship they have with us. When someone asks, like, is there an outsourced ISA service I could take advantage of? We always talk about Conversion Monster, especially because Conversion Monster plays so well with our technology, whether it's our automated ISA Raya or it's our engagement of old leads. They handle everything phenomenally. So, if we have Ylopo clients, I'm happy to help you guys dig in more to continue optimizing, but I think you guys made the right choice. I'm thinking, since we have Nick on, and he has been such a long-term user of both our platforms, I wonder, Nick, if you could just start by telling us what your experience has been with Ylopo and Conversion Monster, and we kind of kick it off that way.
Yeah, sure. So I've been using Ylopo since way back, probably 4 years, 5 years at this point. Lab Code Agents turns 6 tomorrow, so I know it's probably been at least 5 years. So yeah, what I have noticed, when I first started using Ylopo, Facebook lead generation was a very harsh reality for me at that point, in the sense where, I was used to Realtor.com and Zillow, right now, open that door, want to buy that house. And I didn't know how to talk to Facebook leads. And so they would come in, I'd be like, whoa, I'm like, look at all these leads coming in, all these people want to buy houses. And they'd be like, they would yell at me because I wouldn't have the right approach. And it was very stressful and a lot of anxiety there. And I thought I was just completely, doing the wrong thing. I mean, I was saying the wrong thing. What I soon realized was my approach was wrong. I didn't have the wherewithal, or I didn't have the leverage to reach out to these people quickly and frequently over long periods of time, right? You guys didn't have Raya at that time. So there was really no way to automate anything. Everything was manual, and I was dropping the ball a million times, and I just completely lost. Then, there was some texting platforms that came out. I started using those. The only problem with those was that as soon as people replied, you had to reply manually. So that became very overwhelming because a lot of replies would come in. And then the release of AI texting, and then the human element was introduced with Conversion Monster. And I sold in 2 different states, New Jersey and in Michigan. And once we implemented Conversion Monster, I just saw such a difference. It was almost like this sigh of relief, because a lot of the other opportunities that I dropped the ball on kind of came back to life, because what Conversion Monster was doing was going through my database. They were tracking what people were doing and when they were doing it. So every time they would get a notification for somebody in my database who took an action, it would almost be like a new lead, right? And they would revive that person. And so those thousands and thousands of leads that I've accumulated over the years just kind of started to breathe. We breathed new life into them. And then, when we connected with Barry, he's like the script master. And I just learned this new psychology of how to talk to Facebook leads. When they're so, you don't ever ask for the appointment. Just hey, you were looking on Facebook and I just was curious what you thought of that house, and just very conversation style. And that totally changed the game too. So there was a lot of moving parts. And now that I'm using PPC, my mind is completely I think Ro, now that they introduced PPC, you guys are busier than ever, at this point, because those leads are on fire. They're on fire. So
Yeah.
my team in both states, Michigan and New Jersey, I had them running simultaneously last year, 2019. I've stepped out of production, but we'll talk about that later. But we did 35 million in 117 transactions, and I can safely say that at least 15 million of the 35 was in direct relation to Conversion Monster qualifying and nurturing the database.
That's awesome. That's
It's
awesome.
a testimony and a half.
Yeah, and they were all
That's
and by
incredible.
the way, Ylopo is kind of twofold, right? Yeah, there's the leads, but there's also your database that you can throw in there too. And so we did a lot of that, right? It wasn't just the Ylopo leads. It was like, I think we uploaded like hundreds or thousands of past Zillow leads too, and those came back to life because the algorithm and the retargeting, all that stuff kind of plays into it. And so, yeah, I mean, it was huge. Like I could probably say, what is that, like 400 something thousand GCI last year from just like the two playing really well together, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I think, you know, this is one of the questions that we get most asked most often, because we're a digital marketing platform, right? Is we're starting to get a lot of clients that are tired of the portals and both the control that they have over your business and also how expensive it is. But they ask the question, well, how do we replace the near-term opportunities that come out of it, right? And, you know, what I'd say is that the strategy that successful agents and teams like Nick, like Barry, and other people on our platform, what they're doing is they combo cheaper leads that they can get from Facebook and Google. And we'll show you why we're doing that better than we think the industry, with consistent, persistent lead follow-up, right? And there are some clients of ours that are able to do that in-house, whether because they're a solo agent and they are really good at lead follow-up, or because they have a team, they hire an ISA. But the vast majority of our clients don't, you know. And as a Ylopo client, we provide a lot of tools from an automation perspective that helps you work those leads. The most visible of which is Raya, which is our automated ISA, right? That platform is going to text with your leads like an ISA would. What I find is a frequent mistake from clients, though, is to say, well, you know what? Raya's working these leads, so I don't have to. Guess what? Statistically, only 6% of your leads reach the ready for follow-up stage, which is our version of qualified opportunity, of all of the lead Raya works, right? 42 to 45% of those leads respond to Raya at least once. So there's a huge difference between getting qualified and getting, you know, someone on the phone, right? Or engaging at one point with Raya. That difference is human intellect and capital and skill, right? If Raya could convert those 41% of people, none of us would have jobs, right? And so having a phone component and the human component to touching these leads is really, really important for your success, which is why, you know, I recommend to all of our clients who don't have the capacity to work their own leads or have an ISA team, check out Conversion Monster and their phone only, right? Because it plays so well with the rest of our technology set. So I saw a question about Raya, you know, and I wanted to answer that. So Barry, any other thoughts so far?
Well, yeah, I mean, what I love about the relationship between Ylopo and Conversion Monster is that we both do certain things. Well, you know, Conversion Monster obviously can text and call and email leads, but, you know, Conversion Monster basically adapted to where we were going. And that's why it's such a great match with Ylopo users, is because we're generating all these leads, we're resurfacing opportunity, and then they have a call only plan. And so, you know, from a leverage standpoint, most agents can't handle a lot of new leads and a lot of old leads coming back. So it's coming at us from both angles. And depending on what you need, Conversion Monster can talk to both sides. And of course, depending on your CRM, they integrate very deeply with several so that it's almost like they're one of us. Because they can, you know, the live transfer aspect, they're like, hey, you know, Tyler just converted this lead. And so there's that element of, you know, air, land, and sea. You're covering all your bases.
Yeah, these are some hot off the press numbers. You know, this is, you know, what Howard would call the money shot, but I want to go over this early so we don't forget. This is data from Matt that he pulled over the last 6 months, right, Matt, of data. And look, guys, this is what I love about the CM and Ylopo relationship. As digital marketers at Ylopo, we love data. Like, we look at analytics every 15 minutes, right? And when you do lead follow-up, if you're not tracking your success with a systematic approach, you're going to fail, right? And what Conversion Monster does is it actually has the scaled numbers for, you know, how leads perform over time, right? like how many, Matt, I didn't ask you this question. How many total leads was in the sample size that we're looking at? 10,000, 15,000?
Yeah, I would say much closer to 15,000 because, well, as far as the total number over the, the total average for our Ylopo clients, that's probably closer to 15,000. But in the month one, this is, the newer Ylopo clients that have went live, that's their first month's opportunity rate. So that one's probably closer to maybe about 7,500, I would say.
Yeah, sounds good. Whatever. I did the ratio, so it doesn't really matter. But just understand that we're looking at a really big sample size of leads. This isn't just one use case, right? What the numbers show is that out of 500 leads, we have a 76% contact rate in month one. I mean, that's bonkers. The fact that you can get 76% of the leads on the phone, that's already really impressive, right? And there's a 12.5% opportunity rate. So 63 total opportunities out of 500. This is month one of the leads, right? While Ylopo, if you're generating leads from social and PPC, our average cost per lead, let's call it around $5. It can range from anywhere from 3 to 8, I would say on average, just because it depends on if you're getting all PPC, all social, whatever is the case, right? And so when you calculate all of those numbers, the cost per opportunity is $40. If you buy a Zillow or Realtor.com lead, all of you guys who do that now, just a lead without any of the other, in contacts and all this kind of stuff is going to run you way more than that, right? I've heard $200, $300. So if
direct connect in my market is $400, but apparently my market's more expensive than most.
So in Chicago, it can run you $700, $800 for a Zillow lead.
Right.
That's nuts. I don't understand how that makes any sense. So $40 an opportunity is tremendous efficiency, right? So even if you add in the cost of Conversion Monster, which really I think is like cost that you would have to spend on your human capital, so I wouldn't necessarily put it in the cost of leads, you're coming out well ahead, right? But what's really fascinating, and one of the things I love about Conversion Monster is if you use other competitive, and look, we see them all, right? We see every, ISA service that's out there. With other competitive ISA services, they will only work the lead for the first 5 or 10 days, and then they give up, right? And with Conversion Monster, you're getting this lead worked, I think, for a year. Is that right, Matt?
Yep, that is correct. At least 1 year of coverage. And you hit the nail on the head with that. I mean, just with both of our services, I would say, and like what Nick said before, you have all these Facebook leads coming in. You think that they're all going to be ready to buy right now, but that's, of course, is not how it works. So just the fact of, Ylopo having Raya constantly stay in front of these leads over time, I think that actually helps our contact rate of about 85% in month 6 as well.
Yeah, that's amazing. So the contact rate went up by almost 10%. The opportunities rate went up more than that, right? It went up like 20%. Mm-hmm. And so your cost per opportunity for the same leads by month 6, $30. That is a bonkers number when it comes to a qualified opportunity that someone's already spoken to, knows your brand, and is passed on to you to nurture at that point, right? So I wanted to show this data early because this is like actual direct metrics-based proof. One, that if you work the leads, you're gonna, in a systematic way, you're gonna get results. It doesn't necessarily even have to be Conversion Monster, right? It could be yourself, but what are the chances you're gonna do this many dials, and this many, contacts? Probably low, right? But that there is a viable alternative to the portals here, which is a combination of cutting edge social marketing on Facebook and Instagram and search marketing on Google and Bing, right? And a lot of people don't know that's true, and they're stuck in that portal hamster wheel. And we've just seen a tremendous amount of clients who have gone off of that. And that's one of the big points I wanted to emphasize today. If you guys, are spending a lot on portal leads right now today, and you're looking for an alternative, you should just talk to us and try us out, because chances are you're going to find out the economics of that.
Well, and in that same vein, it's I think it was late one evening around 8 o'clock Thursday evening. One of my original agents that has been the most difficult to be excited about lead sources outside of Zillow and Realtor, because he's made a small fortune on those lead sources. And so he understandably had trouble letting go of them. Well, he called me and he said, Barry, I just got a live transfer from Conversion Monster on a Google AdWords lead from Ylopo. He said, this is incredible. He said, the person that the ISA transferred to me and said, Tyler, I've got so-and-so on the phone. You know, they'd like to hear more about, you know, the home buying process. And, you know, I think there's a dynamic when you're all in with Zillow and Realtor.com where you're always on the edge of losing everything, right? Because Zillow has other agents competing for your zip code, so it's driving up the cost. Realtor.com, from what I understand, sometimes one lead maybe goes to more than one or two agents. That's all maybe, right? So anyway, but with Ylopo, I'm able to control my ads on Facebook and Google. I know if I spend X, I'll get X. And then I know Raya is going to do X, Y, and Z. And I know Conversion Monster is going to add that X factor in. And so then you do have a scalable system that you can actually build a business, and you're not like up and down and up and down. And so it really is a match made in heaven in that regard.
Awesome. All right. Well, you know, I'm going to open up our PowerPoint that we prepared for this session. And, or Barry, do you want to drive? It's up to you.
I've been drinking, so I prefer not to drive. I'm just kidding. I'll drive. Oh, I can't share while you're sharing.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. It's been a while since I've used PowerPoint. Feels weird. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, great. All right. So when you look at Ylopo's philosophy, one of the things we're trying to do is empower just the regular real estate agent that is in their local market trying to make it happen. But when you do an annual survey based on real trends, how much money they're spending on marketing dollars, it's kind of crazy, because the majority of real estate agents spend less than $5,000 a year on marketing. So, 5 times 12 is $60,000 a year. And when you add up some of the other percentages, 66% of agents spend less than $10,000 a year, and very few spend more than 40. Well, when you look at what Zillow's done, they've spent $714 million on sales and marketing last year, another $477 million on tech and development. We can't compete with $1 billion marketing spend. And candidly, that's why I never valued a website. So, 2012 to 2016, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do the portals because I can't compete with them. So I might as well, join them. And, but then when you multiply what Zillow's spending with what Realtor.com is spending, Redfin, Trulia, Movoto, Homelight, Homes.com, Opendoor, OfferPad, it just goes on and on. Everybody's competing for this same space, for this same consumer, for the same conversation. The person that says, hi, John, I'd like to go see a house tonight. And, these portals have created a dynamic where we think that's the only conversation that can be had. And, what Ylopo's doing, right? So this is where Zillow and Realtor.com are. They're at the bottom of the river, right? And so that's what we all want. And I want it too. But the problem is I can't control the readiness of the person on the other end of the phone. And so what we've done is we've said, look, if they're at the bottom of the funnel, that's great. Let's go, show them a house. If not, if they're at the top of the funnel, we know that nobody else is looking for that. And if you can create a system and pull in services like Raya and Conversion Monster to support that top of funnel opportunity, you're going to catch fish that nobody else is fishing. And I jokingly say, I'm fishing in a pond in my market by myself. Like, I'm not competing with anybody else. Nobody wants what I'm catching, and I'm building an empire off of it. And that's because of Ylopo. And, when you're looking at this funnel, the ready to transact is what everyone wants. And that's what Zillow and Realtor.com are selling you at a premium that's hard to grow your business off of. And I learned that the hard way. My broker, Zillow, my lender, everybody was making money. My agents, except for me, because I was footing the bill or half the bill on the portals. And so just because someone's 12 months out doesn't mean it's not a good lead. And it also doesn't mean you need to wait a year. Researchers, they're starting to figure it out. Neighborhood, price, location, they're typically about 6 months out, but many of them, when assisted, don't take that long. I can't tell you how many people we've closed in 60 days that were 12 months out. And so we're catching these people and sending them to a best-in-class search site that G and I, along with the entire engineering team, have obsessed about. G, do you want to kind of speak to some of the amazing things about this?
Yeah, well, we spent 7 figures just this year on making our home search website, what we think is the best in the industry for agents. Our aspiration is to build a site that allows you to compete directly with Redfin and the rest of the portals, right? So we're doing a webinar for all of those Ylopo clients. We're doing a webinar November 12th to launch the new home search website. So very, very excited about that. That's a 1.5 years work that we are going to be showcasing all of this.
Yeah. And I think agents have kind of given up on competing on the IDX search front. And what's going to be great is to be able to have a search site that, right now they're using your search site because our ads are in their face all the time, right? And so they're using our site in droves, but that's because we're there and we're convenient. But now we're actually going to have an experience that's going to make them want to use our website. That's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
Cool.
Great home search experience. G, do you want to continue on and I'll click through as you're going, or?
Yeah, let me take over.
All right, let me stop sharing.
Showcase the marketing side of it. Awesome. So not only do you have to have a great, buyer experience for homeowners, right? Or sorry, for home buyers, but you also have to have a great experience for sellers. And so we have actually partnered with a platform called HomeBot that provides a comprehensive home financial DNA to, all of the homeowners in your database, right? We'll talk about this more in a second. But basically, what we're doing on the Ylopo side is we're creating an ecosystem, right? And, don't think of this as just like Ylopo generated leads. The secret to Ylopo is that we want to take every source of leads you have available, your Sphere, your open house, Zillow, Realtor, all of your past leads in your database, any organic leads you generate. We want to bring all of them into our fishbowl, right? Our walled garden, looking for properties, and staying within your ecosystem, right? And we know that out of this pool of leads that you have, your database, new leads, old leads, organic leads, that they're going to transact at very different times in their time frame in their life cycle, right? And so what we want to provide you is technology that stays in front of this consumer consistently over time, and identify the moments that we believe you, and by you we mean in this case Conversion Monster, can reach out to those leads that have the highest probability of getting them into having a real estate conversation, right? And we do that through a couple of different technologies. One of them is dynamic remarketing, showing ads on Facebook that brings consumers back in. We'll show you that. Dynamic email listing alerts. We believe we do that better than anyone else. We get those people coming back looking for more properties, and we're looking for elevated search behavior, right? And that elevated search behavior could be, example, someone viewed a listing 5 times. They came back 5 days in a row. They weren't looking, and then for 30 days, and then all of a sudden they started looking again, right? These are all signals that if you had all the time in the world just to pay attention to your leads and what they're doing, you would say, this is the moment I'm going to call this, right? We aggregate all of that up, and we call those priority notifications. And our clients have the option of sending those priority notifications straight into Conversion Monster, right? So Conversion Monster isn't just working your new leads. They have the opportunity to work your old leads that have come back and become like new again, right? And they're getting consistently pinged with those priority notifications all the time going forward for that particular lead. So they have even more intel on when to call these leads, right? And this is where I think the marriage between an ISA platform and a Ylopo platform becomes really next level, because it's not just like you're blindly dialing over and over again, right? Like,
Hey, G, there's a request to put the presentation full screen. It took me a while to figure out how to do it, but it's,
Yeah, you know, this old technology, PowerPoint it's very hard to work with.
Yeah, it's actually bottom right, man. Bottom right. There's you've got it clicked. Whoa,
There you
where'd
go.
that work?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. Full screen. And G, just to go off of what you're saying also, I mean, you're definitely hitting the nail on the head here. So many of our clients will come to us and kind of just ask, you know, what am I supposed to do with these 10,000 leads in our database? Can you guys just start calling through them? And I'm like, listen, at this point, you know, that's just not going to get you the best results. Why don't you let Ylopo put this through their system and then allow us the ability to see who's still interested, who's still engaging. And it's just the results are just, you know, it's not even close. So
Hey, can I make a quick comment about the dynamic remarketing?
Yep.
So there was a point where, you know, I was running both of my teams, and you guys have those reports where, you know, on the marketing dashboard where it shows you like how many times your brand has been in front of someone, how many people have come back to your website over the course of 6 months. We were having like between 700 and 800 people a month just coming back to our site through the dynamic remarketing. Almost like 5. That's huge numbers, right? And so it's not billion-dollar numbers like Zillow, but for a real estate team, you know, with 5 agents, those are really impressive numbers. Like, you're building that brand, you know, especially when it says my brand has been seen by 200,000 people, you know, through the remarketing. I mean, those are amazing. That's how you compete.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump ahead here, and Barry, I'd love to get your thoughts on the database piece, because this is so important for, I think, you know, all Ylopo clients understand this because we just talk about this all day long, but it's so important to market to your database, right? What we find on the Ylopo side, and I know these are big numbers, but this is an actual case study we did, which is why I'm showcasing it. Out of a 50,000 person lead database, we were seeing for this client that only 5% of their leads were coming back and looking for anything related to real estate in the last like 60 or 90 days, right? 5%. So this person thought like, oh, wow, my database is getting nurtured by whatever platform they were on. It turns out only 5% of those people were. They dropped those leads into our system, and we produced within, I think, 60 days, 10,000 people. So 20% of those people coming back to look for properties. That's what Nick was just talking about. Tremendous volume, right? Out of those 10,000 leads, we had 1,800 of them that did something on the website that was significant enough to warrant becoming a priority. So you're not talking to everyone that's coming back, right? You're just talking to the people that are the most important ones. And out of those 1,800, we pulled out 90 probable buyers and sellers and 15 deals, right? So imagine adding 15 deals every month or every 60 days to your pipeline, right? That would make a tremendous difference on your business, right? And you can scale on the numbers down to your size of the database. Doesn't matter what size your database is. Those are significant deals. And I think where Conversion Monster plays so well with Ylopo is that middle area, that 1,800, most of our clients, now we have Raya, that's texting your leads, so that's backup, right? But most of our clients do not have the time to call all of those contacts. And I think you saw from the data, when you do that, there's a lot of gold to be mined there.
Yeah, no, this is spot on, man. And actually, it's funny. The first 10 years of my career, I didn't even have a notebook of past clients because I was at a little indie brokerage. Nobody taught me any of this stuff. And so then when I came to Ylopo in 2017 at the persistence of Nick and Tristan, I had about 6,000 leads in my database for the team. And, you know, as of today, I think I checked yesterday, it was like 97,000 contacts. So you can do it. right? Like you can balloon this. And what's really interesting about those numbers, first of all, that's not unique. Those numbers are not like that one-off scenario where everyone's like, wow, I wish I could be like them. No, this is standard fare for us now. And what it's taught the Ylopo community, you know, so all these agents collaborating, is we're recognizing that we've kind of been hoodwinked to thinking that we have to only have new leads to be successful. I like new leads as much as the next person. I generate with Ylopo new leads for my teams. But what we've learned is that the only thing that's better than a new opportunity is an old opportunity that has still not found what they're looking for. And when you can build a business model off of old opportunities coming back, the CPL, the cost per, actually probably cost per opportunity would be a better way of saying it, is so much lower than anything I've ever had. And to the point where it's created new problems, because I'll have a new agent come on the team, never been licensed, you know, brand new, and they're calling through the pond and they're like, yeah, I spoke to somebody. They want to go look at homes this weekend. I said, okay, how'd you find them? Well, I just sorted and went through the columns and started at the most recent visit. And I said, okay, listen, and it was on the morning huddle. You need to understand something. That's not normal. You're normally not able to do that. We actually have the consumer's attention. They're shopping on our website. So in my little universe, Zillow's not as relevant as they are to other agents, because I've got an ecosystem of people that know about me because of the branding and the ads. And so it's such a power play. So if those of you that aren't doing dynamic remarketing, set Ylopo aside for a moment. If you're not doing dynamic remarketing and you're not collecting a database, in 10 years, you're probably not going to sell as many homes, because those that don't figure this out, the writing's on the wall. These companies are going to be more and more in competition with us. And I'm not mad at them for it. I just know what's coming. So you really got to understand this database piece. Sorry, G, I probably went too long, but you know, get passionate about this stuff.
Yeah, so let me take you guys through like some visual examples of like what Ylopo is actually doing that's new or different. Like certainly, you know, I think you've heard it drumbeat over and over again. You have the portals, you should check this out, right? The next question I get is, okay, well, I do my own Facebook marketing, or I do my own Google marketing, or I have another vendor that's already doing it. So what is Ylopo doing that's different that we should try the service out, right? So let me high level show you how we're generating new leads, and then I'm going to skip around a bit and show you the rest of our technology set. So the name of the game when it comes to digital marketing today is dynamic. Everything has to be dynamic. It has to change all the time. It has to be personalized in order for it to be effective, right? And what we're doing on Facebook that's different from what you're able to do yourself is that we're able to demographically target an audience, right? So look at the ad on the left right here. It's for our client, Ross Tanaka. We're targeting veterans in active duty military. And we're saying, take advantage of your VA loan to buy one of these homes for $0 down payment, right? Then what you'll see in the advertisement here are actual properties that qualify for a VA loan, right? What we're doing is we are actually uploading the MLS listings in your area into Facebook, and we're tagging each one of those listings to say, this listing is appropriate for veterans, this listing is appropriate for homeowners looking to trade up, this is appropriate for second home buyers, so on and so forth, right? And then we're giving Facebook, hey, here's 500 homes that we think this consumer will be interested in. Figure out using your multi-billion-dollar AI, what are the right homes to show to the right people that's going to get them to become a good quality lead for you, right? So this idea of demographic targeting combined with real listings on the MLS that are appropriate for that demographic element, and then Facebook personalizing that is dynamic ads on Facebook. And Ylopo, having had 3 formal case studies done by Facebook about our technology, we're the premier provider of that, right? Just to give you one more example of how specific we can get, for Cindy here, we're targeting people who are interested in golf and only showing them homes on golf courses, right? So that's how specific we can get from a marketing perspective. So that's dynamic ads technology, right? We generate the lead on Facebook via Facebook lead ad form, and then we drop them straight into your home search website looking for properties. At that point, new leads generated for our Conversion Monster clients go directly into Conversion Monster, right? On the PPC side, what we're doing that's different is we are also taking the old school approach of static advertisements and turning into dynamic ads as well, right? So let me explain what that means. If you were telling me as a digital marketer without Ylopo technology to create a campaign for you targeting the city of Santa Monica, right? What I would do is find out all of the keywords related to real estate, like houses for sale, condos for sale, real estate for sale, whatever is the case. And I would take Santa Monica and I would create a keyword against each of those modifiers, right? Santa Monica homes for sale, condo for sale, so on and so forth, and would bid on all of those keywords. That's what an average marketer would do. The problem with that approach is that within the city of Santa Monica, there are probably 13 neighborhoods, 15 subdivisions, 2 school districts, and a dozen zip codes, right? And if you are searching for homes for sale in any one of those locations, not only are you also looking for homes for sale in Santa Monica, but you're a better lead than someone just typing in homes for sale in Santa Monica because you know exactly where you want to live, right? And so it makes sense that you should bid on all of these keywords. And not only should you bid on all of these keywords, but you need to make sure that you're bidding on the right keywords in that set, because if an area like a subdivision doesn't have any listings and someone bids for that keyword, the person clicking on that ad is not going to convert into a lead for you because there's no content, right? So not only does it have to be deep in terms of the number of keywords you're bidding on, it has to be dynamic based on the actual listings that exist in these areas. You can imagine take one location, now blow it into 100 locations, and then also manage every single day, turning them on and off. That's not something a human being can do, right? And you have to have automation. So that's why Ylopo has brought to the table. And we do a lot of other things like that, but that's just an example to you to how deep we go, right? In a typical campaign, we bid on 65x, 65 times more keywords than what our competition would do, just to give you guys an example, right? Another example we're doing on PPC, why it's been so effective is, again, static versus dynamic, right? A static ad is you bid on keyword homes for sale in Calgary, I create an ad that says new homes for sale in Calgary, right? Dynamic is where we are piping in live data from the MLS into your ad to say, there's 910 Calgary homes for sale, 42 new homes, 68 open houses. Again, being dynamic, it gets a much higher click-through rate, more people are interested because it stands out, which means you're gonna get more traffic and for a lower cost, right? So we're doing this on the seller side as well, right? So,
hold on just a second, G. PPC's been done pretty much the same way for 2 decades, and we just flipped it on its head. And I can tell you that I'm a big fan of social media leads. So I like my Facebook leads, but we consistently, and Nick, I'll be interested to hear if you have an opinion, but we've consistently seen with the PPC product being so hyper local. I'm not competing with Zillow. My cost is 1/3 of what it used to be with Google Leads. And we're seeing way more people engage right away, talk about what they want, and have some substantive discussions about their home search. It's been a huge driver of an increase in sales for us. Nick Baldwin, please come to the principal's office.
Yeah, I will as soon as my kids leave my office.
It's funny because my toddler ran in here. I had to mute real quick and was screaming. So, that's just what we're all dealing with at this point.
Yep. Yeah, I'm in there as well. I had to do the same thing.
That my kids barge in. Can I use your iPad and your phone and your computer and I want to play games? And what were you saying, Barry?
I was just asking you if you found more like where your agents mark the lead hot or warm within the first month of the lead coming in. For us, we found with PPC, we're having way more of those opportunities that that the agent gets off the call and is really excited faster than we were with social media leads. So
with PPC leads, I'm also seeing an increase in people who are pre-approved. That's what's pretty incredible in the sense of I'm seeing, and with Conversion Monster, when I see a lead get qualified and then I go into Follow Up Boss, I see that it was a PPC lead that came in 15 minutes ago, and they're already qualified by Conversion Monster and have a pre-approval. And I'm probably seeing, and I'm not making this up, probably 50% of the PPC leads that are coming in have a pre-approval already. Like it's pretty ridiculous. You know, and we're getting a less lead flow because it's PPC, but I'd rather have that.
Oh yeah,
We're ready to go
all day long.
You know.
Well, and it's rare that you can get more bottom funnel for cheaper, but because Zillow and all these big companies aren't running Google ads for at the like subdivision neighborhood level, we don't have all that competition, but we have more serious intent buyers and sellers. So it's a really big deal. All right, Nick, or RAG, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and I would say, you know, the qualifier to that is it is market specific, right? Like, you know, social leads are 2.5x cheaper than Google leads. And so you're getting, you know, 1 Google lead for every 2.5, you know, social leads, right? So if you are converting social leads at half the rate of Google leads, but you're getting 2.5x, your math still works out for you, right? There are some areas where social leads are like $3 and Google leads are 15. I'd probably take social, right? Also, it depends on the size of your budget, right? You can't do PPC with smaller than $600 a month budget, you know? If you have $300, whatever is the case, which is our Ylopo starter clients, like stay on social because you just can't optimize. You don't get opportunities to optimize with that small of a budget. So, you know, there are definitely, you know, scenarios, you know, to look at both. And we typically recommend our clients, hey, build up your database with social because it's cheap, right? And get some near-term deals in the meantime with search and combo it, right? But
well, what I love actually is the combination between PPC and retargeting on Facebook. Like that's sick, right? Like they come into your database through a Google search, and then you're sitting in front of them on Facebook and Instagram. Like that to me is like just magical, really. You know?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I want to go to PPC before we get, or sorry, remarketing before we get to the end of this, but I just want to call out, like we're using a similar type of technology right now on the seller side. I know how hot seller leads are. And we actually built out a whole seller experience on top of the homebot platform, which is essentially a home DNA that gives the, you know, individual like detailed information about, you know, what their home's worth, how much they've paid toward principal, toward interest, what they can do with their asset, like this really rich report, right? And so we're doing buyer and seller marketing. And for any of you Ylopo clients that are out there, we are opening up that beta to, you know, our entire client base, just like we did with PPC, so we can do a lot more testing. And so if you are interested in the seller beta, just reach out to marketing or support at ylopo.com. We can get you guys set up on that.
And I've never had a seller product that kept the interest of homeowners. I'm not talking about people that want to sell. I'm talking about people that own a home. This data and the way that it's packaged, it's keeping the attention of people that own their homes so that as their behavior changes, and I know that because I can see their behavior in my CRM, as their behavior changes, I'm able to speak to the right homeowner at the right time to help them to start planning, getting ready to sell their home. And we go after it with a pre-listing appointment. We tell them, we prefer to meet with you before you're ready so that you don't make mistakes. This is the largest sale of your life, more than likely. Let us just sit down with you while you're not ready and just talk about the future. And so it de-escalates the meeting. And normally by the time we leave, we've got a clear definition of when we actually are going to list the home. And it's nowhere near as far as the owner thought. The market's great. They thought they were going to have to do all this work, and now they realize they don't. So they're like, okay, well, let's go ahead and list it now. So.
Love it.
Am I doing this part?
No. Let me do it. Yeah.
Okay.
But please comment as you have fit. You know, so I'm going to barrel through this because I know we only have 12 minutes left here, but I definitely want you guys to see this. So high level, you know, what we typically see with a database, right, is you bring in, you know, again, scale this down to your side of the database, right? But you bring in 50,000 leads, only 5% of those leads are actually getting nurtured, right? So when you come to us and you have a big database and you have very few of those leads being nurtured, at that point, we go down this process-oriented, approach to blow up your database, right? And here's what we do. First thing we do is we set all of these leads that you have in your database up on dynamic email listing alerts, right? So we will actually export deep data from your CRM, if they provide it, about what the e-alerts were for your past leads. We don't have e-alerts for them. We'll set up them on something generic, right? So if you're on a platform like Boomtown, for instance, like we can actually pull out bedroom, bath, price point, all of these details of the e-alerts that you already set. We set in our system, and we send it out. The reason they're dynamic listing alerts is because, and this is really key, after every time someone views a property on our home search website, we adjust the listing alert to make it more personalized. So if they start out looking in one location, they add another location, boom, our alert picks that up. They start narrowing their price or expanding their price, we pick that up, right? So there's all these nuances to what listings that we're sending that will get the best response, right? That's part one. Now, part two is if they are a homeowner, we're going to start sending them seller alerts as well. And in that seller alert, they're going to be able to see the value of their home from the homebot platform, right? And they're going to be able to see market trends as well as recently sold properties. So we're hitting them as buyers and sellers, right? The next thing we're doing that we're comboing with email is dynamic remarketing. The concept behind that dynamic remarketing is that when someone visits our home search website, or you give us data about that consumer, like their bedroom, bath preferences, whatever is the case, we take all of that data, we send it to Facebook, and we tell Facebook, hey, we're going to give you the homes in the MLS, and we're going to tell you the types of properties that this consumer has looked on in the past. Now go show them similar properties they're going to be interested in. They're essentially social media listing alerts, right? Except with social media, because this consumer is logging in on average like 7 to 10 times per day onto Facebook, instead of just getting one shot to send them an email that they may or may not look at, you're following them around on Facebook, on Instagram, and on every single mobile game out there with an ad showing them similar listings to the ones they're interested in. That gets really high engagement, right? We see on average to get someone to click on one of these ads to come back to look for properties costs you about 15 cents. And to get someone who's formerly in your database to re-register and become a new lead for you, essentially, right? What we call that a revived lead, costs you about $1, right? So even if a new lead from the marketing we're doing on Ylopo for social and PPC is $3 to $7, $3 to $10, which is still, by the way, really cheap, right? $1 is a lot cheaper than that, right? So that's why we emphasize the database so much, because you're going to be able to tease out those opportunities faster, than potentially even generating new leads. And so we combo that buyer side remarketing with seller side remarketing, because we have all the sold data from the MLS as well, right? So we'll target your homeowners in your database, and we'll start showing them nearby sold properties that directly impact their home price. So we're always covering your bases from the buyer and the seller side. And so this is the key part for all of our Conversion Monster clients, right? And, because when someone comes back and they are doing actions on the site, well, that's nice, but who do you actually talk to, or when do you talk to them? This is where the priority alert system comes in, right? So Barry, Nick, all of our Ylopo professors have had input on what types of alerts we set up. But there's about 15 rules that we're scanning for when we should alert you and or Conversion Monster when you should talk to a lead, right? So as an example, on the buyer side, this lead, Marcia, returned to view listings after 19 days of inactivity, right? So they were active, and then for 19 days, they were quiet. All of a sudden, they're looking for homes again. Great time to call this person, right? We send this alert over to Conversion Monster. They work the leads. They get the appointment for you. Go from there, right? Same thing on the seller side. When homeowner views your homebot digest report, boom, we send alert over. Conversion Monster can take over and qualify the lead from that point, right? Not only are we making this data available to Conversion Monster, what I like about our integration with Ylopo and Conversion Monster is that we also play really nicely, both of us, with our CRM partners, right? So in this situation, inside Follow Up Boss, we will make the priority lead visible in Follow Up Boss. We will send it to Conversion Monster, and Conversion Monster is able to pull in all of their notes of that lead into Follow Up Boss as well. So you have full visibility into what, everything is that's happening inside your system. Barry, anything else to add here before I go to Raya?
Well, yeah, I mean, workflows historically have been based off of the new, like it's a new lead, and so all my drips and all my lists and everything I do every day is based off of the date the lead was created. The new phenomenon that Ylopo has provided at scale is old leads coming back, and that's probably the second or third time I've said that. But what I really want to focus on here is the workflow of talking to the right person at the right time. The priority alerts, they do tell us exactly what's going on, but for us, it's not about necessarily what their action was. It's about, this is a person in my database that's doing something on my website right now. Let's just call them. And one of the things, like twice a month, I work with the ISAs at Conversion Monster to talk about approach and things like that. And candidly, because we are talking to the right person at the right time, the script we use is just administrative. I wanted to close out your file. Saw you were looking for the last year. Did you ever find that home you were looking for? Just, not even salesy at all. And that does really well for priority alerts. It's almost silly because, it's unassuming. And we normally have someone say something like, wow, I'm actually on your website right now. You've got great timing. And it crushes.
Love it. Awesome. Well, you know what? I've got one more thing to talk about that complements really well with Conversion Monster, and that is our AI platform that we call Raya. So high level, what is Raya? Well, what we realized is that even though we're generating all these alerts, and probably because we're generating all of these alerts, agents just don't have time to communicate with everyone, as frequently as we would like, or is the best practice, right? And, Ylopo, we like to automate everything. And certainly we can't automate your job, which is, or Conversion Monster's job, which is to actually make a human connection and talk to these prospects. And we did the next best thing, which is we created an AI chatbot that we call our automated ISA. Her name is Raya. You can change that, by the way. And she is going to proactively and reactively work your leads for you via text message, right? Proactive means new lead comes in, first, 2 months, we're going to text them 12, 15 times. And not only are we going to be texting them, but we're going to be texting them value-added content. So, hey, you are looking at these properties. Here's another one you'll like. Hey, are you looking for good deals on the market based on your location? Here's a couple of that have been on the market for a long time, right? So it's texting, but it's texting with data. And it's also reactive because once they come on the home search website and they do something, right, what generates a priority alert, we automatically text those leads based on that action. So you view a home 5 times, we're going to ask, hey, do you want to go see this property, right? So it has a lot of sophistication behind it. It's happening all through text message. It's communicating with your leads. And let me just play one video for you guys. So this is obviously, this is a real conversation. We had actors portray the different roles, right? But we wanted to show you how powerful the texting can be.
Hi, Judy. It's Ashley's assistant with Keller Williams. We wanted to check in on you and see if anything good or bad stood out about the homes you saw on Facebook.
So this is the AI.
Wyoming area that I believe you
That Barry's voice?
send some to you if you like. Is judy@gmail.com still a good email for you? Did someone use your number by mistake?
So this is all happening over days, right? It's not like we're texting them all at once.
Here's a link to some I found.
Thank you. My email is correct. Today I saw some 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom townhomes, but they were too expensive. I'm at this time only looking.
Are you considering a move within the next year or so?
It all depends on my health. I'm living in Chisago City at the same home since 1975. Lots of steps.
No pressure. It's always a good idea to get started looking early. What else can you tell me about the home you're looking for besides 2 beds and 2 baths? What is the budget that you're looking to stay around for the new property?
So you can see how human both the bot appears and also how good it is at qualifying the lead,
Thanks so much
right?
for this info. It helps us out a lot. I have your preferences down here, and I'll set up a personalized search for properties you might like. I'd love to get a little more information from you if possible. Have you been pre-qualified for a loan, or would you be looking at a cash payment?
Just guessing a townhome around 500,000. Cash payment. Ashley would be happy to do an in-home analysis so you know what your home is worth.
So what's happening right here is while this whole conversation is happening, you as the agent, you're getting text messages of this whole conversation, right? And if you say, oh, wow, you know what? This is a hot lead. I want to take that over. You just click a button inside Ylopo via text message. You go to what we call our stars platform, and you can take over the conversation as right? This is what that agent did.
Ultimately, what you'll have to bring to your next house. Would that be helpful? Yes, definitely. Great. Is there a time on Tuesday that would work for?
So you guys get the point. I mean, this is a blend of AI and humans over text message being able to qualify lead, right? And so what's great with the Ylopo platform Conversion Monster is that you can get the best-in-class texting built in with Ylopo, and then you can layer on the call component, right, which is the Conversion Monster phone-only plan, on top of that to do all of your calls. And you know what's funny is both of these pick up different folks, right? There are people who just respond to Raya and not to Conversion Monster, and then a lot of people who just respond to Conversion Monster and not Raya. And so you want to have both active, and now you know you're going to get 360 coverage on all of your leads.
By the way, I just want to say something to anybody who might be concerned about AI texting. Just want to give a couple of examples that just stood out in my mind from what Raya has said to people. For instance, these are two that just because they amazed me so much. One guy said that he was pre-approved and had a VA loan, and Raya replied saying, "That's great. We love helping our veterans," right? And it said, "Thank you for your service." And then someone else said, I can't talk right now. I'm at a funeral." I don't know why they would reply, but whatever. They must be very motivated anyway. And Raya said, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss. We'll follow up another time." So Raya is really smart and picks up on keywords, so it knows how to reply. And it's really just intuitive, which it's amazing. So don't worry about, I mean, listen, you know, it's still a robot, right? But for the most part, I'd say like 99% of the time, it's going to say the right thing.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely. And just to go off what you're saying, Nick, I mean, to put into perspective how good Raya actually is, we've had leads that call into, you know, our client's office. Those calls get routed to us, and they're literally asking to speak with Raya because that's the rapport that she's built. Like, I'm not even kidding. So they want to speak with Raya.
Is that when you go, hello? This is Raya.
And she, you know, she purposely makes typos to make sure that she seems
Oh,
more
that's
human.
the
So she's just, I mean, I've been so impressed with Raya. It's insane.
Sometimes I just text Raya in the middle of the night when I'm lonely.
Hey,
Shit, did I just say that out loud? Oh, man.
Well, and one thing though, like to keep in mind, you know, the last rollout I think was a year and a half ago, roughly, and the things we did about a year and a half ago, no one has done them yet, and that is to blend property data, IDX data, what the person's looking for, into these conversations. I don't know if you noticed that nuance, but Raya said, "I found a few, here's a link," and it logs the person in. That's transformative because, you know, it adds something that, because no one else can do it still, people don't think it's a computer, and that's why they end up responding.
100%.
Awesome. Well, you know,
Lots of questions.
Oh, go ahead. Lots of questions.
Well, lots of people asking how much is Conversion Monster, and then email the recording, and then one person saying this is amazing. So I don't know how you guys want to.
I'll let you handle, you know, the Conversion Monster question, or maybe you reach out individually. You know, Ylopo's side, if you guys are interested in Ylopo, I would just go on ylopo.com, click request a demo, and fill out the form there. One of our team members will call you right away. For anyone on this webinar, we are going to give $1,000 off your setup fee, which is really crazy. But we want to thank our fellow community here. And so just mention that you were on the webinar and you know, that I mentioned this discount. So Matt, I'll turn it over to you.
Absolutely. And I wanted to say too that we did record this webinar. So if you guys missed anything, or even I'm sure you guys know of somebody that can use Ylopo, because again, we know of just about every one of our clients could use their services, then you know, we're gonna be posting all over Facebook and social media. So yeah, and thank you again for jumping on. I hope it was educational.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
Okay, talk to y'all later.